Greetings from London town. How y'all are? I've left Toulouse, France, which I loved for 3.5 months. And now I'm in London. It's about an hour and a half flight. And I'm falling in love with London. Almost anywhere you go, Marrakesh, Benguerir, Morocco. I fell in love with those places. Seattle, I fall in love with. Wherever you go, Limerick, Ireland, Dublin. Man, I like Belfast. It's humanity. You're a human being. I'm a human being. In many, 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 many ways, we're the same. And we see that. And even like the opposites, the passionate people and the patient people that are really laid back. Yeah, we're different, but we can also see more commonalities. I've said before, a strong woman and me don't get along in like a relationship for very long. And they say, "Oh, you don't like strong women?" I go, "Yeah, because I'm strong. That's the problem." And a strong woman, I advise not getting together with a strong man. And the people that are more laid back and calm, and they need the opposite too. They need a strong person that they can kind of pull back and say, "Hey, you're doing too much." And the person that's strong can kind of say, "Hey, pick it up. Let's do a little more." Nobody's perfect. Nobody's better than anyone else. I'm not better than anybody, and nobody's better than me. You're the same. I loved France. I loved walking. A lot of people walking. America needs to do that more. Walking to the market, walking to the library, walking to the pub. And I was on Jean Juarez. Anyway, that's a lot of people walking, and I really like that. It doesn't happen where I'm from. Everybody's in their car, and we don't build societies, we don't build communities or cities where people walk. Everybody drives and uses a bunch of energy just to go to the store and get milk. One thing I noticed in France, and I noticed in Britain, of course, in America, of course, is we eat too much meat. Meat is hard on the environment. I've been doing some studying, and I want to write a song about the environment and how we're destroying this earth and we're not admitting it and not, my God, did you hear what I said? We're destroying the earth and we're not admitting it. We're not changing. We really have to change. What does it say? For every Celsius degree, the planet heats up, 7% more water goes into the air. And you can say, well, who cares? I said, well, that water is coming from rivers and lakes. Uh, it's coming from your aquifers. It's coming from your water supply. It'll go into the ocean, but that's not your water supply. So when you have water scarcity or maybe a drought that ends up in fire, and you're going, oh, what happened? You know what happened. Or if you don't know what happened, it's because you didn't want to know. And we have the most ignorant, destructive president of all time that says climate change doesn't even happen. It's not real. And millions of people are like, this is the biggest issue in the world, of course. It affects the world. Food supply, water. We're not going to live without water and food. That's the basics. But also the destruction to your homes from flooding or from fire or from drought where you have to move because there's no water. That creates problems of people moving into places that are already populated. So it's sad, but we just have to face up to these challenges. We have great challenges. We have great challenges, but we have great powers. We can do this, but not being bad citizens that avoid what's facing us. You can't avoid things. I believe in democracy, and democracy requires good citizens that help us face the challenges, including climate change, the number one challenge. And one challenge that makes that hard is because it's a communal idea. So we're doing this together to help each other, And we are so individual, and how about me, self-interest, and you can call it capitalism, but you could also call it greed. Like, how much can I make? It's all about profits, and we've seen the concentration of wealth destroying community. Because if the top 10% in America owns 75% of our wealth, do you really think that's a good community? And I'm in England, and in Ireland and in France, it's about the same thing. I think the top 10% owns 60%, so it's a little better, but that's not the right word. It's not as bad. It's still bad. And you are creating not just an unequal society, but an unhappy society and a struggling society, and for many, many millions, a desperate society. I don't know if you've ever been desperate, but you don't make the best decisions. And if you create a bunch of desperation, I don't know what you're going to expect those decisions to be by the people that are just trying to survive. We're having a harder time paying our rent, harder time buying a house. That's pretty basic. And the people in the stock market are making good money. They kind of don't want to change. The billionaires that are buying media, they're making good money. They don't want to change. Why would they want to change? Because they're self-centered, self-interest. Wow, I had 10 billion, now I have 15. This is great. Well, it's not great for humanity. It's not great for this planet. It's not great for whatever nation you live in. So it's my come to Jesus talk, I guess. I walked about a block. I'd read about this place. Had a nice ciabatta. Is that what it's called? Ciabatta? Anyway, a sandwich and chocolate croissant and coffee. And kind of a small cafe, but I'd read about it. Had good reviews and affordable compared to a lot in London. It was nice. Too much meat. Again, we elect this guy that says we don't have to change. We can do, drill as much as we want, eat as much meat as we want. Not even that. It's even worse, saying, the clean energy is bad. Windmills are bad. So this generation is creating more and more destruction and more and bigger problems for planet Earth. Don't think we can escape that. We will not escape that. I taught history. History will remember. And we have to turn this boat the fuck around. This boat is going toward destruction. And this planet and these people deserve better. We all deserve better. Don't talk about God if you destroy Earth. What does that mean? It means nothing. Hypocrisy. Lies. We elect a liar and just keep going. Like it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it matters. Yeah, so the sandwich was very good. Too much meat. I'm just coming from France. Too much meat. America, too much meat. It takes a lot of resources to grow meat. It takes a lot of water for industrial farming, and specifically for meat. When they're fighting over water in the Colorado River, the farmers of livestock are going to say, "Hey, we need this, and America needs this meat." Well, we need to move away from meat, not entirely, but we need to cut it more, like into a third of what we eat, something like that, maybe a quarter. I'm not saying stop eating meat, but we have to get away from making that such a big part of our meals. It's destroying so many resources, including what you need. You need water. We all need water. What is it? 600 gallons of water it takes for one cheeseburger? Something like that. A friend of mine gets on to me for taking a shower every day. I don't take a shower every day. You waste water. I want to say, hey man, water takes about 25 gallons. One cheeseburger is 600. We need to be good citizens. I taught government. It's just good citizenship. We don't have to freak out. We don't have to We don't have to freak out, but we have to help lead us into a better direction because the planet is for every degree centigrade that the planet warms up, which is happening, 7% uh, more moisture goes into the atmosphere. And you say, so what? Well, that moisture comes from the rivers and the lakes, water supply, your water supply. So when you have water rationing and water scarcity, and maybe you have to leave because there's no water, you'll know why. You already know why. We're just turning these blinders on. We're following a guy that doesn't tells us that climate change doesn't even exist, and that windmills are bad and burning coal is good. This is infamous. This is infamy. This will go down in history as one of the darkest times in American history because we're actively helping destroy the planet at a faster rate. I don't think that's American. I don't think that's holy. I don't think that's acceptable, of course. That's not the right word. It needs to be stronger than that. But we can turn around. We can turn this fucking ship around away from the darkness and the lies and the deceit and the corruption and people stealing so much money and the crypto and the tech kings buying media and only letting the information they want out or the discussions they want on TikTok or X or the media. What was it? CBS News and the New York Times and the Washington Post. Everything kind of more, hey, don't say the rich are bad and billionaires are bad for community, and don't say that the average American is struggling and the middle class is shrinking and people can't pay their rent and they can't buy a house anymore like their parents did. Well, that's what's happening. But we're not supposed to talk about it. We are supposed to talk about it, but you're going to have to get away from this media sources that are owned by the billionaires or the media speakers, concubines that are paid for by the billionaires. They make good money. They're like, hey man, I got a wife and kids and a mortgage. This is my job, and I'll say whatever they want me to say. So, yeah, but you're creating a world that's going to be terrible for your children and your grandchildren. I mean, if you have to look at it that way. A lot of people don't have kids. It doesn't have to be for your kids. It can be for the holiness of this planet, the holiness of you and me. It doesn't always have to be about the children in the future. We are here now. We are here. We make these decisions. Are we making good decisions or are we making bad decisions? Are we being good citizens or are we being bad citizens? More the world is starting to wake up to unity and community and loving your brothers and sisters, and I'm glad for that, and being in the streets and saying, we're not taking this anymore. And of course, the richest people are fighting back or trying to say, oh, that's, these people are getting paid to do this. My God, that's what our president says. Oh, they're paid agitators. Oh, what a lie. This guy's just so full of lies. Isn't that amazing that the leader of our country has so many qualities of a human being that you tell your kids, don't do this and don't lie and don't be greedy and don't assault women and don't do this. And he does everything that you tell your kids not to. Why would you vote for a person that does everything that you tell people is bad? We made a mistake. We made a mistake. We make mistakes all the time, but we have to turn this around. We have to become good, better people. Me too. Here we are. We can become better people. More loving, less acquisitive. This is mine. I want this, Sad. That's so sad. What do I like about London? Well, I like even Toulouse. Toulouse had a lot of people from Algeria and Northern Africa because they're so close. Um, so I go down to this place and get breakfast. And the couple and their daughter, I think, are eating next to me, and I think they're speaking Italian. So they're leaving. As they're leaving, I go ciao. I think that means goodbye in Italian. And they kind of laughed, and the older lady said something, and then the older guy behind, he puts his hand on my shoulder and says something. That's nice. It made me feel warm or like a human being. I don't even know, but we're being kind to each other. Make you cry. Kind to the stranger, kind to the immigrant, kind to everybody. Maybe you want to go to Italy. I know they're passionate. I'm passionate, and well, the art, you know, from Michelangelo. I'd like to see Michelangelo. What's the other one? There's like two. Michelangelo. Oh, I'll think of it. But as I've, know yourself. I don't know who you are, but I can tell you I have an idea that you're either pretty passionate or pretty laid back. So when I say something about a strong woman, if I meet a lady and I can tell she's strong. Part of me is like, okay, that's, at 67, I've been around, and I know that's not going to work for me. Like, oh, you don't like strong women? Well, no, because I'm strong. That doesn't work out, not in the long run. I need somebody laid back where I can go, hey, pick it up. And they can look at me and go, hey, bring it down. We need each other. We need all this diversity that God created or the universe created, whatever you want to call it. Great diversity here. And we're ruining that through climate change and the first man-made mass extinction. Let me say that again. The first man-created mass extinction of sacred life, of sacred diversity, this beautiful planet that God created, we're destroying. Let's talk about that. Shouldn't we talk about that? And how can we change our ways of life, including our energy sources, to respect and revere this holy planet? We should talk about that. And that includes more of a communal idea of, hey, we need to do this for the world. We need to do this for the planet. We need to do this for others, including ourselves. And that will go into the community. Hey, we need to build good housing for others. We need to build good housing for our community. We need, taking care of each other, not fighting like fucking dogs for, I want to be a billionaire. Okay, you're a billionaire, and these 1,000 people are in poverty. And if we equalized it, they would have a decent life, and you would still have a decent life, but you wouldn't have 5 yachts and all the, what do they call it? Haute couture, haute cuisine, all of that beautiful, expensive, luxurious, decadent, opulent, obscene level of living, which creates obscenely poverty-ridden ways of life. So I'm leaving. I'm checking out from that restaurant that I had breakfast at, and I asked the guy. They were talking in Italian too, and I said, "How do you say thank you in Italian?" And he kind of told me. And I said, "How do you say brother?" And he goes, "I don't know." I go, "Oh, come on, man, you know how to say brother." And basically, he said, "No, man, we're Croatian." So the wait staff, the waiter, the waitress, the cooks, I kept hearing them speaking. I thought it was Italian. People next to me were Italian. He goes, "No, man, we're Croatian." So I asked how to say thank you in Croatian, which is kind of not that easy, but I'll look it up. I want to go back there. It's a nice place. Everybody deserves a good life. This planet deserves the holiness that has always been here. Look around this universe. This is a sacred, holy place of life, diversity. We have to be good forces of light. We are light. We have to be good stewards and cultivators and farmers and humans, citizens. You are awesome. You are awesome. And so is everybody else. And so is this planet, my brothers, my sisters. Love you.